Okay, now do people call you Everett?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do a little paperwork here. Everett. Are we going to be talking about the Second World War? When were you born?
23. August 8th and August 22nd and 23.
August 22nd,
Right.
1923.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Your descendants, a couple hundred years from now, might be watching this, so I ask names. Your name is Lloyd Everett Meadows, and are you married, single, divorced, widowed, separated, all the above? What?
Married.
Married. How long have you been married?
57 years.
What is your wife's name?
Violet.
Violet?
Yeah.
What is her middle name?
She doesn't have me.
What was her maiden name?
Kazee.
Kazee. How do you spell that?
K-A-Z-E-E.
K-A-Z-E-E.
Right.
What were your parents' names? What was your father's name?
James Meadows.
James Meadows. And what was your mother's name?
Annis Crabtree.
Anna?
Annis.
Annis. A-N-I-S?
A-N-I-C-E.
C-E.
Yes.
Annis. Okay, very good. A-N-I-C-E. Crabtree was her maiden name?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what were your wife's parents' names?
Oshie Kazee and
O-C-I-E?
C-I-A.
O-C, okay. O-C-I-A Kazee, that was her father, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, what was her mother's name?
Ruby.
Ruby? Ruby Kazee?
Right.
Do you remember her maiden name?
Wheeler.
Wheeler. Ruby Wheeler Kazee.
Right.
Now, Everett, did you have children?
I've got 3.
And their names are?
James, Mary,
James Meadows, Mary Meadows,
and Charles Meadows.
Charles Meadows. Do they have children?
Well, James has never been married.
Okay.
And Mary has one son.
What is his name?
Clayton Crabtree.
Clayton?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mary has a son, and then your other son, you say you had 2 sons?
Yeah, he's got 2 children. 2. Christy and I can't think of
I'm asking a lot here.
Well, I know her name, but I have trouble with names.
Do they live locally in this area?
No, they live in Florida. One lives in Florida and one lives in Connecticut.
Now, what was your occupation?
I did a little bit of everything.
Great. Now, were you career military?
No.
Okay, now you got out of the military when? When were you discharged?
September 25 and 45.
1945. You were in the Army?
Army, yeah.
Now, after you got out of the Army, what did you do then, as far as an occupation is concerned?
Well, one of the first places I worked was in Frigidaire in Dayton.
I see.
And I moved on and went to work for Veterans Hospital up there for a while.
In Dayton?
Yeah. And then I worked at, I came back and I worked at one of the stone mills out in Montgomery 3 times. And I worked for the other 1 time. And I just worked for place long as I worked for A1 Places, Northwest Board of Education for 10 years.
I see. What did you do there?
I was a bus driver and mechanic.
I see.
Yeah.
And was your wife employed at any time?
Yeah, she worked at nursing home at Montgomery.
Okay. Now, how much education do you have?
Well, I finally, after 50 years, I got the GED.
50 years? Okay, that's great. That's great. Now, what is your current address?
2583 Duck Run Road.
2583 Duck Run Road. And would that be Lucasville, Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Everett, let me ask you this. Now, you were in the Army. When did you go in the Army?
January 11th, 43.
Okay. And did you join or were you drafted?
I was drafted.
And where did you go to do your basic training?
Camp Louis, Texas.
Camp what?
Louis, B-O-W.
Oh, Camp Lloyd. Okay. Camp Lloyd. Where was that located, Camp Lloyd?
Well, I always heard him sing songs deep in the heart of Texas.
That's as close as you can.
I was under the impression it was pretty well in the center of Texas.
Okay.
The place, the nearest town was Brownwood.
Brownwood was the nearest town?
Yeah.
Now, after you did your basic training, where did you go?
Well, we went to Louisiana, Camp Polk on Maneuvers.
Okay. And did you do anything called AIT, Advanced Individual Training? Now, let me ask you this, be a little more specific. What area of the Army were you in? What branch of the Army?
I was in a tank outfit.
You were in armor.
Army.
Now, where were you trained in armor?
Where was I trained?
In armor. Was that Camp Boyd?
Camp Boyd.
Okay. Now, what was the name of your unit?
749 Tank Battalion.
749 Tank Battalion. And now, after you went to was it Camp Polk in Louisiana? Where did you go then?
Well, we went back to Camp Swift, Texas, near Austin.
Camp Swift.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happened?
Well, we weren't there very long until we went overseas.
All right. Where did you go when you went overseas?
We landed in Cardiff, Wales.
You landed in Wales.
Right.
Okay. Part of the British Isles.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember the trip from Camp Swift to where did you disembark? To New York?
Camp Shanks, New York.
Do you remember the trip?
Yeah.
What were you on? A train?
Train.
Okay. And how long did that take you?
I don't remember that.
Matter of days, wasn't it? Maybe even a week.
Matter of days.
Okay. Now, before you went overseas, did you get any leave time to come home and visit?
When we were in Camp Swift, Texas, they made a talk to us. Half the outfit's going to get a furlough at one time, and then the other half, and when you get back, you're going overseas.
I see. Did you get your furlough?
Yeah.
Come home?
Came home.
What'd you do?
I've got a story about that, but you probably don't want to hear it.
Well, I don't know. Did you get married?
Yeah, I was married.
Okay.
And we got, in order to get off the post, we had to have transportation because the trains and everything were loaded. Well, one of the boys had been a big winner in cars.
All right.
And he bought a 33 Model Ford. And if anybody comes through Little Rock, Arkansas, I usually ask them, have you seen a 33 Model Ford just this side of Little Rock? Because we blew out a tar there, and you could get gasoline down in the southwest, but you couldn't get in the tar.
Okay. So then how did you make it from Little Rock?
Well, we got hitched a ride with a guy in a cattle truck.
3 of you.
No, there's 4 of us.
4 of you. 4 soldiers.
So we got up in that cattle rack and rode into Memphis, and from there we got on a train.
All right.
And got on into, and finally made it home.
Well, has anybody ever seen that 33 Ford?
I've never heard of it. I've asked a few guys, and they said evidently somebody took a piece at a time.
A little bit of a time.
Although this boy told him, he said, give me your name and address, and when I get home, I will send you the title to that car.
Did he do it?
Oh, no doubt he did.
Okay. Now, how did you get back to base, back to post after your furlough?
That was no problem.
Why? How?
Well, they let us on the train. We had to stand up a lot and everything, but they go see to go back on that.
All right. Now, when did you get married?
I got married in 42.
1942.
Right.
So
June 42.
when you were drafted, you were married.
Right.
Okay. Now, now you are in New York. What was the name of the camp?
Shanks.
Camp Jacks?
Shanks.
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 Yeah, Shanks. Okay. Do you remember the name of the ship that you went over on?
Santa Paul.
Santa Paul. Santa Paul. So you landed in Wales. And then what happened?
Well, we were there about 4 months, and then we went to Normandy.
You made a little excursion across the English Channel, did you, and to Normandy? Were you in the training at Slapton Sands? Do you remember anything that called it? Where they had some training before the invasion? Remember? Were you involved in that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Were you trained? Let me ask you this: were you trained then to make amphibious landing in tanks?
Not really.
Okay. Well, what happened then?
We waterproofed our tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And got them all ready for the landing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were waterproofed, and we drove them off in the water on the beach.
Did they have those skirts around them? Those things like that? Remember what I'm talking about?
I don't remember. I don't recall that. But we just waterproofed them and then drove off in the water.
How do you waterproof a tank? A lot of grease.
Well, they had some special material. I don't know if it was like some asphalt plastic or what. I don't recall that. We spent several days doing it.
Were you a tanker?
Yeah.
What was your position in the tank?
Right.
You were the driver. And this would be a Sherman, I assume. Was it a Sherman? Did you land on D-Day?
No.
When did you land in Normandy?
Well, this thing here, I think, tells
great.
the day that we landed.
Okay, so we're right here.
I know the first day in combat was the 3rd day of July. But Utah Beach was
I see.
June
Okay.
29th in 44.
June 29th in 1944, you landed with the 749th Tank Battalion.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you went, I'll tell you what, later we'll spread this map out and I'll bring the camera up and get a picture of it. And this line right here, is that your trip?
That's supposed to be every place that we went, and I go. I wasn't a driver when we first went on the beach. I was assistant driver.
I see.
But just a day or two, I was a driver.
Now this
is off man,
I see.
And then this.
Were you at St. Lo?
Yeah, we were at St. Lo.
Were you in the fighting at St. Lo?
Yeah.
Okay. And Laval, is this what they call the pocket, the Fosse pocket or something?
Yeah, we went down toward the Brest Peninsula, and there was an awful lot of people trapped in there. Took a lot of prisoners.
A lot of Germans.
Yeah.
Now, your unit didn't go into Paris.
Didn't go into Paris. We crossed the pontoon right here.
Could you see the Eiffel Tower from there?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I saw the Eiffel Tower because I got a pass later on.
I see.
To Paris.
Now, were you in the Bulge? Battle of the Bulge?
No.
Let's see. That's good.
We were down south at that time.
Whose army? Were you in Patton's army?
Well, when we first went into France, we were in the First Army.
First Army.
Hodges.
Hodges would be the First Army.
Yeah. And then we went into the Third. And did all this. And then when we swung out of, just barely crossed the Belgian border, and then went down here and went into the 7th.
Oh, the 7th. Now, who would that be? Beaver? Patch, yeah.
And his son got killed right beside one of our tanks. He was a captain.
Is that right?
And then after a while, we went back into the Third Army and went the rest way across. And we was the farthest tank outfit in Germany whenever before that.
What's that? For the trip?
2,200 miles in all.
How many casualties did your unit suffer?
I don't know. These books tell.
Okay.
But then I don't know. We had quite a few casualties.
Now, is this, you've got 749 Tank Battalion patch here. Are these other patches, these are the divisions that you were attached to at various times?
Correct.
Okay.
Wherever they need some tanks.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
But we spent most of our time with this 79th Division and the 44th.
44. You were with the Ohio Division here too, the 83rd for a while.
83rd, we was with them, yeah.
And then the 100th Division?
Yeah.
Okay. Fear our rage. That's the name, that was your motto.
Yeah.
Fear our rage. Okay, we'll spread that out
I don't know if the German feared us too much, but I certainly feared them.
You were afraid of them? Well, let's see. Let's look through the rest of this here. What do you got? Daily?
Well, that's company daily reports.
Okay. Daily reports of your, this reads Daily Report of Combat Action.
Yeah.
749 Tank Battalion, World War II. And these are actual reports?
Well, I've found some errors in that. There's one fellow that lives out on Route 73 that was in our outfit, and he got hurt real bad the 5th day of July.
I see.
And he was gone for, I think, approximately 7 months. And I don't think it's got any recording of that injury in it. I've looked it over.
Some stuff got left out.
Some stuff got left out.
Okay.
And then I was wounded twice within a period of about a week. And I think there's only one of them listed in there.
I'd say that's just probably happened inadvertently, wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
This is rather thick. You got.
That's all company reports. This here is something that Pentagon records held. Days of continuous combat, 196. Total miles traveled, that's where I got that 2200. Units service, 17. Farthest Eastern Tank Advance.
That was your unit.
That was our unit.
Continuous combat, 196 days. That's hard to believe.
I was there every day. I never missed a day. When I got wounded at Patchville, I was
back in the tank.
I'm back in there.
Well, I'm going to see what happened on December the 1st, 1944, because that's when I was born. And this says CO. What does that mean? Company? CO move? Command, whatever. Moved from Petersbach through Struth, Tiefenbach to Wesslinger. Tanks took positions to repel possible counterattack. No casualties, no tanks lost. Headquarters section remained at Petersbach. Well, that's an interesting book. That's interesting to have. Now, this is your record, it looks like.
Yeah.
This is your, what we would call a, I guess, a discharge paper.
Yeah, discharge. They call it a number. I don't know.
Battles and campaigns. You were in Normandy, northern France, the Rhineland, Central Europe. You have a theater ribbon with 4 bronze stars. Good conduct medal. You have Purple Heart with 1 oak leaf cluster, and you have a bronze star medal. You're right there in the thick of it, weren't you?
I was in it. I got a lot of stories.
Tell me one.
Well, I don't know which one to pick on.
Well, let me ask you this then. Were you a driver at all times? Did you also become a gunner?
Well, you let me into one. When I first went in the service, I was a mechanic for a while. Then I left it, went into the line platoon. One of the biggest mistakes I had to make.
Line platoon was a big mistake.
Yeah.
That made you an infantryman, didn't it?
Well, no, I was in the
You were still in the tank battalion?
In the tank, but I wasn't a mechanic longer. I would have been behind the line. But just a day or two in combat, and our tank commander got killed. And this gunner, of course, outranked me, but we all went crazy. He got shot right between the eyes, just dropped dead. And he said, told me, this gunner, he was a corporal, he said, get out and get a doctor. Well, there's no doctors.
A doctor?
Yeah, there's no doctors now, and Germans and American soldiers are. And I went to...
was your tank commander standing up in the cupola? Was that
he got his head up enough that they shot him.
Drilled him right between the eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. So he drops down into the tank?
Yeah. And he told us before we ever went over there, he said, man, we're going to get in it. And he said, I'm going to get it. He said, just as soon as we get there, I'll get it. And I firmly believe that
I've had other people tell me that when a person feels like they're going to get it, they get it.
I only felt like I was going to get it whenever I was right in the heat of battle. When I got the break, got away from it, I didn't feel it.
You never had a premonition of it?
I never had a premonition of it. But then this gunner talked me and getting out to see if we could find a doctor. No doctors around. But we was green. We just went in and caught that thing and knew what it was all about. So I got out and there was no return. I crawled on my belly until I got to a road. And wasn't very far. And I got down in this ditch and the Germans was shelling that road and so was we. Both coming both ways, artillery coming both ways. Well, as the infantry boy came across that ditch and he got hit on the right side. Machine gun fire or burp gun or something, but had several wounds there on his right chest. And an infantry boy turned around and looked at me and he said, "You got any nerve?" And I said, "Not very much." And he said, "Well, if you got any at all, let's get this guy back to the main station." So we jumped up and got him and took off down the road with him. And when we got come
Were you being shot at during this period of time?
Oh yeah, all the time. And whenever we got up to the turnoff place, it was so hot that we decided to get in that first hole we came to. We got in it and later just a little while that guy came to and said, "Give me a cigarette." And so we give him a cigarette and then we said, "Let's get him on back to the aid station," since he came to. And now there's never any record made of that. My outfit knew nothing. All they knew was what I told them. There's no record made for it. And I would have probably got a better reward if
you might have got a Silver Star.
Yeah. And so then that crew was broke up then.
That tank crew?
That tank crew was broke up. And I was the only one left on the front. And I moved up as the driver in that tank. And then they put other fellows in that was and made up a new crew. So then myself and a guy named Humphreys and Messmer got a Silver Star because his tank was the first one knocked out when we first went into combat, and he had driver and assistant driver killed. Germans put 10 holes right in the front slope of it, and he stayed in there and kept putting the fire out with the fire extinguisher. And then finally, up out of the hatch he came and landed in the ditch, and he came in my tank as a gunner, and he was a gunner too.
He was good?
He was good. He weighed about 105 pounds, but he was all man. He saved my life.
Did he?
Oh yeah. And he came back and got me when I was knocked out cold one night. The guys up there shaking me when I couldn't do. He said, "Medicine," and led me to the whole water. And we broke ice and snow on the ground. We went in there and we was down below the line of fire, and it was firing on us all the time we was in there. And my assistant driver lost his foot that day. And
what battle was this?
that was down when we was down in with the 7th Army.
Okay, way down southern part of France.
And
look at this.
but when this McBride, the gunner that I first went over with, that was in the hedgerows right when we first went to work in combat in the hedgerows.
It was hard, wasn't it? The hedgerows?
Oh man, you didn't see no Germans. Gatlin's or prisoners. You didn't see no rivals. They shooting at you, but you didn't see them.
That was hard to work through.
Oh yeah.
Did you put those? Did you put something on the front of your tank to bust through the hedgerow? What they put those dragon teeth or something?
They put a bulldozer blade on our tank.
Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah, it bust through them. Yeah. But we only had one tank in each company that they put that on.
What kind of small arms did you have available to you inside the tank? Did you have a grease gun or what?
Grease gun.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what kind of bullet did that shoot?
45 caliber.
Was it worth anything? I mean,
the infantry loved that grease gun in the hedgerows.
did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as I know, as far as actually shooting anybody myself, if I ever killed anybody, I didn't know it.
You didn't know it?
The first day probably. I was in combat. I shot what they called the bow gun at a 30 caliber. It was just like shooting from the hip. You wasn't taking no aim or anything. If I would have seen somebody, I could probably zero in on it.
Okay.
But,
was that that little gun up near the on the cupula? 30 caliber. It was a 30 caliber.
Well, we had two 30 calibers. We had one for the assistant driver, and we had one for the that shot off the same sights and same trigger as the 75 millimeter, and later we got 76s.
I see. Okay. Now, all during that period of time, you lost a lot of friends. It sounds like.
Yeah.
A lot of battles.
Yeah.
This gunner that you're talking about, did he survive the World War?
Yes. The one that
the skinny one, the one that was good, 105 pounds.
He survived it. He died probably about 15 years.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But this other guy, he was shell shocked so bad he got out, and he's dead too. I was mad at him for a long time, but then
why?
Because he talked me into getting out of the tank.
Well, he's the one.
And before we'd gone over, we had argued a lot. He was going to be a brave guy. And I wasn't going to be. I said, I don't want no part of it. I wasn't looking to be a hero. But I said, well, so I was aggravated at him. And then in later life, I thought, he couldn't help that. He couldn't help it.
Did you like the Army?
I liked it as much as, other than combat, it was probably as easy a life as I ever had.
Was combat?
You got a 10-minute break every hour if you was training.
Right.
And I never got no 10-minute break any other place where I worked. And, you didn't have a lot of responsibility, But being away from home and combat, I did not like.
Your descendants might be watching this 100 or 200 years from now. Do you have anything you want to tell them?
Try to do everything you can to promote peace.
Promote peace.
Right.
That's a good statement. This book I'm wondering about, is this the history of your battalion?
That's the whole battalion.
Okay. Is your name in there?
Oh, it's in there, but I don't know I think that's the one. I'm not sure where it only told about the one injury that I got, but it's hard to find in this.
Okay.
But now this here, that's the same as this map here.
Okay, I'm going to take a look.
But this here is a speech a general talks to his army.
Who was the general?
George Patton.
Oh, did you hear George Patton speak?
I didn't hear it. I heard all about it because I was a private at that time.
Did you ever see him?
Never did see him in person.
When you got out of the Army, what was your rank?
T4.
T4.
Sergeant.
Let's spread that out. I'm going to bring that up here. And I just want to get this on camera. Spread that out there. I'm going to unhook this. We're still shooting. Jiggle around a little bit. Still shooting. Okay. Bring that along. Okay, now there's the map of the area you went. Right there, I'm going to point to it. You came ashore there, right? That's Utah Beach.
Right.
And you went down the coast.
Yeah.
And you were in the Battle of St. Lo.
Yeah.
Is that St. Lo?
That's Laval. Let's see.
There's St. Lo's right there.
Yeah.
That's Laval.
Fugers, Avalanches,
Yeah.
and Laval,
Okay.
Le Mans.
And then this line here is the line your battalion.
Right. That's our
That's where you went.
Yeah.
Boy, you were way up in there. 2,200 miles. Okay. What do you think of all that now?
What do I think of all of it? I think I was one lucky guy. Although I've carried that with me all my life.
What do you mean? What have you carried with you?
You don't forget that. Person doesn't forget things like that. And I think it done some damage, but in some ways I think it made in other ways I think it made a better man out of me.
You ever dream about it?
Yes, I do.
Dream about the horrible things about it?
Dreams are, if it's possible, is almost worse than the real thing.
Is that right?
Right. Yeah. I didn't until later in life when I started having sickness. I got sick. And then I started having what we call nightmares. And I think that would come back. I didn't like it.
You be right back there?
Yeah.
Well, let me put this back together here.
You're finished with this, aren't you?
I'm finished with the Mac. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming down. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Well, not necessarily, because if I told you all my stories, you'd never get to anybody else.
We'll be here for hours, huh?
We'd be here for hours.
Well, maybe you ought to tell them and you get a camera of your own or something and start putting it on film.
Well, my wife says, I've heard all of them.
She's heard them all.
She's heard them all.
But
Look out, my children has heard them all.
Well,
But they just, when you have a bullock being a tank commander got up on tank one time to make a cup of coffee. And our heads were closer than mine yours, up on the top of the turret. Did up one of these little gasoline stoves. Everything was quiet. But when it was quiet, a lot of times you were in real danger. Zing! Right between our head and our snot report.
right between your hands.
Right between. So a bit, you get word that our battalion colonel was killed by that same, no doubt that same rascal.
The same sign.
And he was buried right there, and his grave is there at that place today.
In France?
In France.
What was his name?
Carl Dawes.
Oh.
And he did it. Fine man.
Everett, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate everything you did over there.
And I've just got, I seen guys around the fire, guy get up, walk in to rub his hands, said, boy, that fire sure feels good. Kaboom, my dud down under that fire explodes, and he's the only one gets a scratch, but gets him in the jugular vein, gone just like that.
Amazing.
He just came in to our outfit as a replacement. I could just go on and on. I
Thanks a
slept
lot.
all night one place. A guy, me and that gunner that I was talking about, the little fella, when he was first in the Army, they asked him first inspection, said, soldier, when's the last time you shaved? And he said, sir, I never did shave. And he said, but the Army give you a razor and some blades, said, you get out of here and kick them whiskers off. He comes back and he said, I'm a man now. Had a little buzz on his chin.
That was it.
But he was a man. He was a man.